couldn't tell, this is a very, very hard piece. It's originally written for string quartet. Originally, have you listened to the quartet?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you're doing a very nice job with it.
Thank you.
Hard. I played this 5-6 years ago. Last time I played this. I don't mind that I don't play it anymore. It takes a lot of work to keep it up. I'm going to talk to you about a few just general musical things and a little bit of technique. I think generally musically, one thing I think you're doing a great job with the piece. But I think, and I mentioned this with I think on the soar or the rondo, there's different sections of this piece that kind of have a different character to them. And by character, I mean quality, not necessarily like, if you want to think about different characters in your pieces as a point of interpretation, some people do that, But this piece has different sections have kind of different character, and you can bring those characters out sometimes by getting, like we talked about, by making the timbre brighter or darker and having a little bit of a different dynamic range as well. And you're doing that a little bit, but I think it can be more. Okay. I think I made a few little notes, and I got to find them. Find them in here. I think you're doing a really good job in general with the phrasing at the beginning and the cadence at the first repeat. Especially the second time, you did a really good job of the D sharp going into the E. And on these cadences, we want to make sure that the leading tone, we use a pivot finger on the leading tone wherever possible. So it's been a long time, but what is it? It's so we want to make sure that, so we keep the D sharp down as we change chords. And I think the second time you did that really well. And one thing you did well at this too is the first time you didn't really do as much of a retard. I think the second time you can do a little bit more of a retard to signal to your listener that something is going to change. Like there's a new section coming up. They already know that it's kind of the end of something. And then we have a big change here. Can you take it from somewhere here and then make the transition into the next section?
Mm-hmm. So from like
any place you're comfortable starting, leading up to the cadence.
Okay.
The first part. Good. So here's what I think can help that transition into, is that the character of the piece, there's some similar thematic material, but the texture really changes here into being just octaves. It's kind of almost like really you could think of it like a monophonic texture, but just doubled at the octave. Okay. Do you guys understand what musical texture is?
Yes.
What's musical texture? Okay, good. So it's how it's the way in which the simultaneously occurring parts are interacting with each other. Okay. And what's the texture in the first part? What's the texture up here?
monophonic.
Up here, be careful. Down here, I would even it's double up the octave, so I consider it monophonic. But up here we have a mixture of homorhythmic and homophonic. Did you say homophonic? Did you say monophonic?
I said polyphonic.
Polyphonic. I think of this as more almost homorhythmic and homophonic, where you have all the homorhythmic, all the voices are moving together in the same rhythm, which is hard to do on the guitar because it's like lots of chord changes.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this section is really, I think it's really hard. And then homophonic is when we have a main melody with a subordinate chordal type accompaniment. Okay. So there's a real change in texture between these two sections, and that can kind of be a cue of changing character. What I'd like to hear you do, try getting don't be afraid to get a little bright on the E. We're moved to the dominant, it's called the dominant here. And a little bit more of a retard before making this section, and then try just to help make the contrast more, to heighten the contrast. But don't be afraid to let the E chord get a little bit bright and then a little loud, because we're moving to the dominant, which represents tension.
Right.
You know? So, and then soft and dark here. So by playing this E chord kind of like this and just going into the, it's been so long, we want a contrast between in the, we want this to be a little bit dark and mysterious sounding compared to the definitive sound of our cadence here.
Right.
Can you lead into it? Don't be afraid to let the E be a little loud, retard, and a little brighter and loud.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yum bum bum. Draw the D sharp out a little bit more, the leading tone out a little bit more. Yum bum. So think here.
Okay.
That's juice that note a little, just a little bit. You can even do a little vibrato on it. That's our note that needs to resolve.
Right.
Okay. One more time. And you can roll that last chord
Okay.
to kind of show that we don't need to have the rhythmic bump bump. It's been bump 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 throughout. So we can ba-dum. Yeah, it'll make it less rhythmically rigid at that moment of coming to rest.
Okay. So.
Yeah, think of a tenuto on it. But I want to hear it connect to the E. So you don't lift up the fourth finger. You can start the chord and then lift it up at the last minutes.
Oh,
So
okay.
what we want to hear is, the melody might actually be just the F, but I want to hear it connect, the D sharp connect into the E.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I need to do more time there. On the second time. First
yeah.
time I wouldn't do it as much.
Right.
Second time a little bit more.
Okay.
Try just a little bit more. Not too bad. Don't be afraid to make the E louder. Yadum. I mean, I'm backing off. You want to back off on a little bit because this is tension release.
Right.
So maybe a little louder or brighter.
Okay.
Okay. And the reason for the brighter is because we're going to go darker here. Yes. So this is the cool thing about Romantic period music. This is what written Mendelssohn. When did Mendelssohn die? Like the 1840s or later, 50s? I don't even remember when he died. I should know that. I'm a doctor of music. I don't know.